Hi all, in this session we are going to learn about what is Azure DevOps and what are the advantages which we get by using this Azure DevOps and where we are going to use this Azure DevOps. We are going to discuss in detail in this session. Let us quickly understand what do we mean by Azure DevOps. Before understanding of Azure DevOps, first of all we just need to understand what do you mean by DevOps. What do you mean by DevOps? DevOps is a technology? No. We can say no, DevOps is not a technology. DevOps is a process or culture, how we can effectively deliver our project. Okay, DevOps is a set of sequences or set of steps, or it's a process, or it's a culture in order to deliver the project effectively. It's a kind of methodology. By using in this DevOps process, we can involve multiple tools. By using this multiple tools, how we can effectively deliver our project. This is nothing but DevOps. And what are the advantages? Why majority of the organizations are referring Azure DevOps in order to develop their projects? Because of the advanced features offered by the DevOps to make the easier, to make the project implementation easier. Because of the advantages which has been offered by the DevOps platform. So what are the advantages? Let us have a quick look. It's maximize the efficiency. Efficiency. Do you know efficiency? Efficiency means how much we get. If I put 100%, how much efficiency I will get? The efficiency. So by using the DevOps practices while implementing my project, it maximizes the efficiency. Means with automation, like by using the CI/CD pipelines. Here remember this word, you are going to use this CI/CD pipeline over entire of the sessions. The CI stands for continuous integration. The CD stands for continuous deployment. By combining CI/CD, we can call as continuous integration and continuous deployment. This word will be repeated again and again until the entire sessions. Okay, fine. Right. And it is going to optimize the entire business. Means it is optimizes, it is reliable, it improves the speed, it improves the scalability of software development and deployment. It gets you focus on what matters most, because of if anything is urgent or foremost important for me, it is going to focus on that only. And implementation of projects development using DevOps is cheap. Why? Because of it is fast, it is more efficient, and compared to other process it becomes cheap. Because of these advantages, whatever the features or advantages which we will get by using the DevOps practices, because of this reason the majority of the companies are showing their interest towards using of the DevOps platform. And there are a lot of things. So if you want to have some kind of theoretical stuff on the DevOps platform, yes, I'm going to provide the material to you. You can refer all the steps, then you will have the better understanding what is DevOps process and why companies are adopting DevOps process, because of what are the advantages provided by the DevOps platform. Everything you will get from this material. Please refer this material. I'm not able to see each and everything, and I'm not able to read each and every point. This is for your reference. But in this overall material, you just need to understand what exactly it is. Instead of reading each and every point, just understand what exactly it is. Here, who should learn DevOps? Only the Azure, whoever is working on the Azure only learning DevOps, or whoever is working on the admin side only learning Azure? No, the developers, because of if they develop their code, if they want to test the code by deploying their code over the Azure environment, then they must and should learn the DevOps. And operations teams, why operations team need? Because of if they want to deploy the code over the infrastructure, and if they want to create the pipeline in order to make the automation, they are going to use the DevOps. Individual developers, and means the developers, like you are not part of any team and you are an individual contributor on a particular project, still they need to learn the DevOps. Freelancers, suppose if you learn DevOps and you are working for some company, and some freelancing companies are there, like some project is going on, it is for 6 months. Instead of instead of they take an employee for 6 months only for temporary purpose, they are going to assign the work to the some freelancers. They are going to pay the money. If you are a freelancer, if you are good in DevOps, then you can work as a freelancer as well. Management. People working under management must should learn DevOps. Management also know DevOps process only, because of if they are know about the if the management knows about the DevOps process only, then only they will understand the team performance, what exactly going on, in which state the project is, how the project is efficiently going on, everything they will understand once they know DevOps. Client also must and should understand about the DevOps process, what kind of strategies the employees is following, how effectively they are delivering the project, what are the uh, measures they had taken if there is any issue in the implementation of the project. Because of client also must be aware of the DevOps. Everyone, in my view, everyone who is working on the technical stream, project implementation or project deployment or project monitoring, must and should about the Azure and Azure DevOps. Because of if they understood this process, then only they understood what exactly is going on. Okay, fine. So here I'm going to provide some kind of stuff to you regarding how IT industry is adopting the DevOps platform, and how they would be developing and execute the projects in DevOps. So simply this is for your reference. And in the last session, as we already discussed, there are a lot of teams involved in the daily stand-up meeting, nothing but Scrum meeting, like development team, testing team, application team, monitoring team, DevOps team, client, owner, Scrum master. There are a lot of people who are daily joining in the stand-up meeting, and they will discuss on the project, how the project is going on, is there any blockages in the project, how effectively we are going to deliver the project, is there any issue with any team. They are going to discuss a lot of things. Okay, how they are going to sprint planning. Okay, right. The benefits, what are the benefits? Fast delivery, it is going to reduce the time. And rollback, rollout, rollback, there are two things. Rollout means if you are going to deploy new thing, that will be if you have already existing version is there. If you are going towards the next version, that will be called as a roll out. Rollback is nothing but I have some kind of new version I'm going to deploy. If the new version has been failed, I had already existing version which is working fine, but my new version is not working fine. What I will do, I just get back to the existing version, previous version. That is nothing but rollback. Suppose you are using some kind of application, and the developers has do some kind of uh, modification to the application which you are using, and they had deployed the same by providing the some external features, but the user experience is bad. The users are getting some slow issues, they are not going to open something, and it is not working as we expected. At the time, what they will do, instead of doing continuing the same, what they will do, they will get back to the previous version. What exactly it is, previously exactly it is, we are going back to the exactly, that will be called as rollback. Quality, the quality of the work will be improved. Collaboration is nothing but the communication, how effectively we will involve each and everyone in the project, how all the teams together will come into the one channel in order to communicate with each other. Collaboration is nothing but together of teams, all teams work together. More reliability, easy to use, no maintenance, reliable, secure. There are a lot of things which we need to consider when we consider DevOps. And here, what is the relationship between Azure and Azure DevOps? Here, just please understand, the Azure is a cloud solution which provides a lot of services and features to help our organization in almost all ways during the deployment of any product. Like whatever the services which you want to create, you will be able to create in the Azure only. That may be virtual machine, that may be Docker container, that may be storage account, that may be key vault, whatever it may be. That may be virtual network, backup of resources. Each and every resources will be created in the Azure only. Then what is a part of Azure DevOps? It's a one of the feature in the Azure. What we will do with the help of Azure DevOps portal. Here it's a feature of Azure. We can say Azure is something very broad, and Azure DevOps is a part of Azure. Azure, okay, Azure is not a part of Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is a part of Azure. Okay, and from Azure, as a prerequisite, we are going to process our code. Finally, where we are going to deploy our code? In Azure only. So in order to make the continuous integration and continuous deployment, we are going to use the Azure DevOps portal. But finally, we are going to deploy our code over the Azure only. Here what we will do, we are going to make some kind of communication or connection between the Azure DevOps portal and Azure portal. Whenever I push the code into the Azure DevOps portal, it is going to push the code, it is going to build the code, it is going to test the code, and it is going to release the code. And once the code has been released, it will be successfully deployed over the Azure, the resources which I have created over the Azure. Okay. Then, as I told to you, the Azure DevOps is a part of Azure. Fine. Let us see the diagram of Azure DevOps architecture diagram. Here, if you observe this, then you will have the clear understanding what exactly it is going on. Here, Azure boards is nothing but a like of dashboards in order to track the where the exactly project is. It is generally used for the managers or team leads or client or scrum master in order to track the individual's work status. Fine. Suppose assume you are a developer. No, your friend is a developer. You are a DevOps engineer because of you are attending the DevOps course. Because of you don't think like you are developer. You just think you are a Azure DevOps engineer or cloud engineer. Somebody, you are working in an organization, their developers are working to develop the code as per the client requirement. Suppose the developer has developed the code, and where he is developed in Visual Studio. Assume he, by using the Visual Studio code, he has as a developing tool, he just developed some code. Once the code development has been done, he just pushed the code into the Azure repo. Here it is not necessary to use the Azure repo in order to manage our source code. Generally, Azure repo will be called as a source code management tool. We have a lot of source code management tools are available in the market, like Git, team, something. There are different types are there. VTS. There are a lot of source code management tools there, but majority of the organizations are used Git, Global Information Tracker, as a source code management tool. Okay, successfully developer has pushed the code into the Azure repo. From the Azure repo, the code will be built. Means the code will be tested. Once the build has been done, the code will be tested. Once the code has been built, what it will generate? It will generate the artifact. Artifact is the end product which needs to be deployed over the Azure resources or resources which are created under the Azure portal. Okay, and in order to deploy the artifact into the Azure environment, we are going to release a pipeline. Release pipeline is the thing which is going to deploy the artifact over the resources which we are going to create in the Azure portal. Okay, here there are a lot of environments out there. Like simply in our organization, there are mostly four kinds of environments are there, like development environment, testing environment, UAT environment, production environment. If any project is going on, first of all, we need to check the functionality of code in all those environments. Like we are going to test in the development environment, we are going to test in the testing environment, we are going to check in the user acceptance test, UAT environment as well. Finally, if it is succeeded in all the environments, finally we are going to deploy our code in the prod environment. Remember guys, in prod environment there is a lot of restrictions. Normally we can't juniors or some in some organizations, especially for juniors, they are not providing access to the prod environment because of it is the difficulty. If you do any mistake in the prod environment, that will create a business loss. So that's why make sure you need to work very carefully while you are dealing with the prod environment. Okay, and here I am going to provide what is Azure DevOps in what, and what are the key components which are available in the Azure DevOps. So here each and whatever the things I'm going to show to you, we are going to discuss in detail in the upcoming further sessions. Don't worry guys, just please have a introduction. What is what? And the things which I'm going to show to you, like Azure boards, Azure repo, Azure pipeline, Azure test plans, Azure artifacts, everything we are going to discuss in detail in the further upcoming sessions. Don't worry about that. And in the last session, as I already told to you, in real-time environment, we have two kinds of environments are there. One is on-premises, the second one is cloud. If I want to deploy my application in on-premises, I can be able to deploy. Otherwise, if I don't have any on-premises environment in my office, then I can create my environment, I can create my data center in the cloud. I can deploy my project over cloud as well. This is purely based on the company's decision and company's requirement. Okay, this is all about DevOps and especially about Azure DevOps. If you are going to develop the DevOps practices in Azure, that will be called as Azure DevOps. Suppose if you are going to implement the DevOps practices in the AWS, that will be called as AWS DevOps. If you are going to practice DevOps practice in GCP environment, Google DevOps, Google environment, then that will be called as Google DevOps. Like whatever the environment it is, we are going to automate the each and every process. Automation, why we are going to use the automation? In order to avoid the manual errors. If you do each and everything through manual way, there are a lot of dependencies are there, and human error is most common in every organization. So in order to avoid human difficulties, means human errors, we are going to introduce the automation. Each and everything will be automation. Okay, fine. This is all about Azure DevOps. Hope you guys understood my session. Okay, and please guys, if you like my video, if you like or love my video, please share your comments and like my video, and at the same time share my video to your friends as well. That would be definitely helpful for them while in order to enhance their skills in the cloud. Sure, I'm sure. And as I already discussed with you, please post your comment or please post your email ID in the comment section. Accordingly, I'm going to provide access to the Google Classroom. Accordingly, you will be able to get the material from the Google Classroom. Then it will be very useful for you while preparing for the interview or to enhance knowledge. Okay, thank you guys, and I will meet you in the next session with the new topic. Until signing off, thank you, bye bye.